Hello, I'm making this tutorial because this took me the longest time to figure out. So using Kontakt in Reaper and having it so that you've got your MIDI tracks sending to Kontakt and then Kontakt sending the audio back to the MIDI tracks. So essentially you've got MIDI and audio tracks simultaneously. I did watch a tutorial that explained most of it, but there's one tiny little thing that I had to figure out that, it took me the longest time. I was tearing my hair out, but here we go. So how to do it. So already I've got my MIDI tracks sending to Kontakt this instrument track. So if I go to the start and play, so you can hear that, but the audio is coming out of just the instrument track. I want it to be individual instruments back on these MIDI tracks, which will also be audio. So to do that, first of all, you have to allow feedback. So you have to go into your project settings, so in File, Project Settings, and then make sure that Allow Feedback is ticked. I already have it ticked. That means that it will be able to send from the MIDI to the instrument back to the MIDI, which will now be audio. Okay, so I've got it sent to the instrument track. Now we have to send it back. So to do that, you have to go into Kontakt, and you have to open up this output tab. So that's under this menu here, and outputs, and it will show the outputs. Depending on how you've got it set up, I have a lot of outputs showing at a time. If you don't have many, all you have to do is go to outputs and then click the amount of outputs you want and the number of channels. This is channels as in, like, if it's 2 channels, it's a stereo track. And then make sure it is set to 1, and also if you want that to be your default setting, then make sure that you click make this your default configuration. But I don't need that because I already have outputs. Right, so how do you set up these instruments going to the outputs? So when I tried to do it initially, so how you do it is you click on this presets batch configuration, and then you go into batch functions, and then the clear output section, and create one individual channel for each loaded instrument. But every time I did that, it would only output to channels 1 and 2. And I was losing my mind trying to figure this out. So how I did figure it out. It's up here. So Reaper is amazing with how customizable it is, but sometimes little things like this just make it very difficult to figure it out. So when you make an instrument track, it defaults to just 2 channels of audio that it's outputting. So if you go up here, it says 2 out, click on that, and you've only got 2 channels going out. So if you click on that plus button, and again, and again, and again, suddenly you have all of these channels. You've got, what do I have? 10 channels going out now. And you'll notice the instrument now looks fat because it's got that many channels going out. So now when I click on the presets and batch configuration and batch functions, and that same thing that we did before, clear output section, and create one individual channel for each loaded instrument, when I click on that, now look at this. We have my bass going to 1 and 2, my drums going to 3 and 4, and my strings going to 5 and 6. But the MIDI/audio tracks haven't got that information sent to you yet. So if I push play, it's just sending the bass because I've got I think it defaults to 1 and 2. So what we need to do is we need to set up the sends going back. So quick key, hold down Command on a Mac or Control on a PC, and then drag the routing onto the instrument. So we're sending 1 and 2, audio 1 and 2. So that's fine. Next one to the drums, and then we're sending 3 and 4. So stereo source 3 and 4, and then the next one, strings, go to audio. We're sending stereo source 5 and 6. And so now when I play it, you've got audio coming out of these originally MIDI tracks, which is amazing. It keeps it nice and compact. But you also may have to mute the master send so that it's not sending audio out of the instrument track as well. So a quick key to do that, just hold Alt on a Mac and PC, I think. Alt, and then click on that, and it'll go grey, and that means the master send has been deactivated. Another way to do that, just click on routing and the master send up here. Just make sure that's unclicked, and yes, here we have it. Amazing. I hope this was helpful to anyone out there, because it took me longer than I care to admit to figure this out. Okay, goodbye.